They come from all across the world, from many different lands. The brave from Britain, the confident from America, the determined from Japan, and anyone else, anywhere else, who wants to step up to the challenge. 100 challengers compete across a 4-stage obstacle course devised by the devil. Success means glory. Failure means humiliation. It truly is win or die. Many have tried. Very few have succeeded. But they all have one goal: to become the next champion. This is Ninja Warrior of Halo! Hello guys, I'm Hunter Unit 751 and welcome back to Ninja Warrior of Halo. 100 Spartans stepped up to the challenge of Stage 1 here in Tournament 22. But the modifications to the first stage saw plenty of shocking early exits. From successors in the past, to veterans, to all-stars, and the most shocking of all, the Stage 4 finalist and first place finisher in the last tournament, Rob, were eliminated. Nevertheless, we do still have 11 challengers moving on. So Strafe Helix came in with the fastest time and a record-breaking clear time on Stage 1, and he will be joined by Chris, Flamosaurus, Smoky Massacre, Alpha Puma, Atlantic Champ, Double Ump, Z-Master, Gotenks, Irish, and the newcomer Bookcase. But now, these 11 survivors will face the twists and turns of the second stage. The first 2 obstacles of Stage 2 are a familiar sight, but after that there is all change. The landing platform for the stick slider has been made a lot smaller, whilst the pegs on the metal spin have also been reduced in size, requiring precision. There are also 2 new obstacles in the skywalk and the wall lift, and an unchanged time limit of 65 seconds means our survivors will have to keep moving if they want to reach the finish line on time. So let's head down to the sidelines to see how some of our competitors are feeling.
I'm excited. With this Stage 1 clear, I have cleared every Stage 1 on a course that matters in Halo 5. So that's pretty exciting. I haven't practiced Stage 2 obstacles very much, so this might be an issue, but the obstacles seem very easy. It really just comes down to time in the end.
I'm pretty excited. It was
definitely a close run on that first stage. Just looking forward to being able to attempt this.
I'm feeling wonderful. I'm really happy that I managed to clear Stage 1. It feels like it's about time that I made it. And I just hope I can do a respectable effort on Stage 2.
Well, I gotta say I'm very happy to be here, but it will become very evident that I've done almost no practice for Stage 2. I was so focused on beating Stage 1 this time, so obviously I'm not very confident, but I'm just so happy to be back, and you know, I'll give myself something to build on for next time. So.
Oh, these right here, boy. These are my boys, yo. The ones who are motivating me to get further, man. I'm trying to get to Stage 3 with all my boys. Yeah. If I go, the whole squad goes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, I think after failing a few times, I think I do have what it takes to turn it around and hopefully get to Stage 3 this time.
12th time on Stage 2, I'm pretty excited. I feel like, you know, there was obviously that one point in my career where I was very dominant on Stage 2, and I don't think I was really worried about it, but it's crazy how much that Tournament 18 salmon ladder failure still haunts me to this day. So I'm going to be looking at that salmon ladder, and, you know, the rest of the stage is definitely a little more difficult than last time, in my opinion. So hopefully keep my luck, keep my focus, and get through the stage.
The sun has set and nightfall has arrived here over Mount Midoriya. Day 2 of filming saw blue skies, but an equally shocking amount of failures. Our Sweet 16 from the last tournament have been reduced to an electrifying 11 still standing for Stage 2 tonight. Although a record-breaking 3 competitors reached the final stage in the last tournament, will we see similar success after the brutality of Stage 1? Will the changes made to the second stage produce more disappointing defeats? Let's find out as our first competitor makes his way to the start line, and he is the first of 4 challengers taking on Stage 2 for his first time on this course. A man who has had to wait a long time to finally get a taste of what it feels like to be on Stage 2. The Jumping Spider was beaten. It's Atlantic Champ. He is the host of his own course, Halo Sasuke. You should definitely go check it out. I hear it's quite good. But Atlantic finally made it to the second stage. Let's see how he's going to do. 65 seconds to beat 6 obstacles, and he makes his way through the downhill jump nicely. Now for his first real test, the salmon ladder. This obstacle has taken out 15 competitors so far in its time, but Atlantic is making light work of the salmon ladder. Look at him go! He's up it perfectly and onto the stick slider. This platform has been made smaller. You've got to time your dismount, which he does very nicely. Atlantic onto the new obstacle, the skywalk. It's like the cliffhanger, but a little bit easier. That ledge is not quite as thin as a normal cliffhanger, and he makes light work of it. Onto the metal spin. These columns are very thin. You've got to time your safe jump just right and get the dismount right. He's got 18 seconds for the wall left. New obstacle. Got to lift up the walls using the mongoose. Each wall gets heavier and heavier, and he's finding it tough. This third wall, but he gets underneath. The klaxon sounds, but Atlantic Champ beats Stage 2 with 6.8 seconds left on the clock. His first time on Stage 2. He's had to wait a long time to finally get a taste of the second stage, but he takes his chance perfectly. Atlantic, he said he was feeling quite confident with the obstacles. It was all about the time, and he delivered.
Time.
Don't break the wall.
You got plenty.
You're good.
Yes!
You're good.
Yeah!
Oh my god, that was the biggest squeeze ever.
The big squeeze! And that is the
so
fastest
close.
time of the tournament.
It's the only time of the tournament, Puma. Atlantic, first man up, first man through, and he is moving on to the third stage. Well done to Atlantic. Atlantic gives us the perfect start to the second stage. Can we keep it up with our next competitor? He is the only newcomer still standing here in Tournament 22. This is Bookcase. Kind of come out of nowhere. He looked pretty impressive in practice. He just about beat the time limit. Now we're going to see if he can beat the time again here on Stage 2 as he glides through the downhill jump very nicely. The salmon ladder, though, no newcomer has ever beaten this obstacle. It hasn't had many people attempt this obstacle, not many newcomers, but Bookcase has got a technique here. He's going very slowly up to the edge, now picking up the pace a little bit, or maybe just on that one jump, but this is the hardest jump of them all. Can he get it? Yes, he can! Bookcase is up to the top. He's only got 30 seconds left, though. He's got to start thinking about the time. He's got to get moving. Stick slider. He drops down, but he gets it wrong. Bookcase is out on the stick slider, and that is our first taste of why this obstacle is more difficult. All about the timing, and he timed it too late and overshot the dismount platform. Bookcase is beaten. His newcomer debut ends on Stage 2, but he has just delivered a piece of history. The first newcomer to beat the salmon ladder, and that's the best newcomer performance out of anyone since we moved to the Xbox One. What a great newcomer performance from Bookcase. But now we can move on to our next competitor taking on Stage 2 for his first time on this course. The next man stepping up is Z-Master. Another plucky Brit, Z is today making his 5th appearance on the course, making his debut back in Tournament 17 where he did well on his newcomer debut, failing the flying chute on the MCC. Unfortunately, he then followed that up with a second obstacle fail in the first Halo 5 tournament. He missed Tournament 19 but came back for Tournament 20 where he got a little further going out on the half-pipe attack, and then in the last tournament he looked like he was on his way to Stage 2 only to fail the flying chute again. Now, at the 5th time of asking, Z has managed to put it all together to deliver his first Stage 1 clear on this course. Z-Master. His 5th appearance, his first time on Stage 2. Didn't have to wait as long as Atlantic did, albeit obviously that was his own fault because he missed Tournament 19. But it's great to see Z finally make it to this stage. It's been a good upturn in form. Got his first Stage 1 clear on Rog's course, got back on form on Smokey's course, and now he's here on Stage 2 on this course. Let's see how he's going to do! Z! No way! Z is out on the first obstacle of Stage 2. Joy turns to misery in the space of 5 seconds. All that work to finally clear Stage 1 has been for nothing! Z is out in an instant on Stage 2.
Oh, you're kidding me. Yeah, I jumped too late.
The crowd is gutted for Z. I'm gutted for Z. He is beaten. That is going to sting. That is truly gutting for Z. But we can now move on to our next competitor who's got a small group waiting for him.
What are we doing?
We're gonna
backslap.
Can't just 3 backslap. He's gonna die.
Well, I would be very gutted if Irish has had to wait this long to get back to Stage 2 and then dies from his fellow competitors punching him to death. But this is a run we have been waiting a long time to see. Next up on Stage 2 we have Crown Ferret 19, aka Irish. Irish is now the host of his own jump course, aptly named Irish Warrior.
Hello and welcome to the first tournament of Irish Warrior. And he's sending the minefield. Oh my goodness, what a great time save. 100 unit, keep going. 6 seconds left. He's coming to the final turn with 3 seconds. He's got to jump up and hit the buzzer. Hunter unit keeps the tournament alive.
This is a run that we have been waiting 16 tournaments to see. Irish back on Stage 2 for the first time since his 4th appearance all the way back in Tournament 6 on Halo Reach. On that attempt, he came so close to joining the 7 others that moved on to the 3rd stage, but came up just short on the finish line. Now, 16 tournaments and almost 8 years later, he is back. You know that I'm definitely one for stats, and I've got a couple here that will just show how mind-boggling this gap has been. Smokey and Ump, who've also been to Stage 2 for their first times alongside Irish in Tournament 6, they've racked up 23 Stage 1 clears since Irish last cleared, and there have been 164 Stage 1 clears between Irish's 2 clears on this course. That is truly insane stuff, in my opinion, and it's just amazing. Amazing to see Irish back here on Stage 2. He's got through the downhill jump, which took out Z! Irish is having trouble here on the salmon ladder. He's really taking his time. He's clearly worried about this obstacle. He's made it up the first jump again. He's done it twice now. He goes for the second jump. He bounces off, and Irish is beaten by the salmon ladder. No shame in failing that obstacle. It's taken out so many people in the past. But Irish's great comeback tournament is finally over. As we can now move on to our next competitor, who somehow got himself into the kill ball above the stage 2 start line. And what is going on with Chris's head? Look at his head! What's going on with his head right now? Another classic Chris intro. Now it's time for our last first-time runner to go here on the second stage. Like Atlantic Champ earlier, Chris has today matched the record for taking the most amount of appearances to get his first Stage 1 clear. Today, making his 6th appearance, he made his debut on the MCC tournament, Tournament 17, where he performed very well on the Trials course and came up just short on Stage 1, falling at the flying chute, something he then repeated again on his 2nd appearance in Tournament 18. In Tournament 19, he was one of many that failed the jumping spider, but in both of the last 2 tournaments, he was able to get past the jumping spider, only to fail the next obstacle, the half-pipe attack. Now, after 5 Stage 1 failures in a row, Chris managed to put it all together and deliver a run that was fantastic, as it was flamboyant. Now, can he keep that going and get past Stage 2 as well? We have quite the crowd watching on here for Chris's run. We saw it in his interview. His homies, his posse, his boys, his whatever other word you wanna use. Competitors that have already been eliminated on Stage 1 and Stage 2, and competitors that are still yet to run, all here watching Chris. The last of our first-time competitors taking on Stage 2 as he throws himself into the downhill jump. Atlantic is the only one of the first-timers that's beat Stage 2 so far. Can Chris join him? He's spring jumping his way up the salmon ladder. He's zooming. He doesn't get it on the first go, but he gets the last jump on the second try. Now he's got to slow down for the stick slider. Don't go too fast, Chris! Oh, very nice stuff. He landed that perfectly. Onto the skywalk. Is he going to zoom through this as well? Chris almost got the Stage 1 speed record on Stage 1. He's surprisingly taking his time a little bit there on the dismount of the skywalk. He drops down for the metal spin. Got to get the drop down just right. That's the modification that's been made to that obstacle. And now he's onto the wall lift. He's zooming through this as well. He's honking. He knows he's going to do it. Is he going to beat the klaxon as well? Chris! No, he doesn't. He just misses out. 9.6 seconds. He kind of got into a bit of a tangle there. Right at the finish line, dismounting as everybody throws themselves into the water again, just like we saw on Stage 1. Chris, that was a truly dominant performance on Stage 2. His breakout performance continues alongside Atlantic Champ into the 3rd stage. He was looking so good on this stage. The only time where he really took his time was on the dismount here of the skywalk. Everything else was near enough full throttle, full pace, and no holds bar. Chris, with the fastest time so far, is the 2nd man moving on to the 3rd stage.
Alright, see if I can get
9
some
seconds? 9 seconds,
Let's go, baby!
I have absolutely no idea what Smokey just said then that got everyone laughing, but this group can look forward to watching another Chris run on Stage 3. Now we can move on to all of the competitors that managed to beat Stage 1 in the last tournament that have made it back here again today in this tournament, starting with Gotenks. This is Gotenks' 6th time on Stage 2, and this is the 4th time in 5 Halo 5 tournaments that he has made it to the 2nd stage. He has yet to get past this stage though on Halo 5, as Gotenks almost suffers a shocking early exit on the downhill jump. Onto the salmon ladder though. He's failed the stick slider twice before and then finally got past it in the last tournament, only to fail the swing ladder. But the swing ladder is now gone. Is this Gotenks' chance to finally clear Stage 2? He hasn't been to Stage 3 since Tournament 16 and he's not going to get there again today! Gotenks goes out on the salmon ladder, an obstacle he has beaten every time he's attempted it before. Until today, his first time failing it. Now it's time for our next competitor who has an even better record than Gotenks at getting to this stage. It's Flamosaurus, formerly known as Flame Vortex. This is his 5th tournament in a row, making it to stage 2. He is 5 for 5 on stage 1 here on Halo 5. Unfortunately though, he has also got a pretty rotten record on stage 2. He's only beaten this stage once on Halo 5, that was in tournament 20. And as we saw, he failed the stick slider in the last tournament, and he was seriously worried about the stick slider again today, with the modification to make it even harder. Let's see if he can get past it. He's taking his time, not rushing, going down. He comes up short! He dismounts too early! And Flame fails the stick slider for the 2nd tournament in a row. Stage 2 is wiping our competitors out. 7 attempts, only 2 clears, and 4 competitors left to go. And our next man, like the previous 2, has a score to settle with this 2nd stage. And is looking for revenge. Double Ump has attempted stage 2 10 times previously across his career, and whilst he has largely tasted success, his stage 2 failures have been interesting. His first failure came in tournament 7 with a rather unique one-of-a-kind failure falling off the side of the vehicle ramps. His second failure didn't come until all the way in tournament 16, the final Xbox 360 tournament, when he slipped up on the metal spin. And his most recent stage 2 failure came in the last tournament when his spring jump technique on the salmon ladder did not go to plan. Now he is looking to bounce back from that failure and add another stage 2 clear to his resume. Double Ump, his 11th time taking on stage 2. Level with Re95 and Elite, and only Smokey has made it to this stage more times than Ump. Can he get his revenge and rack up another stage 3 attempt on this course? It's time for revenge. It's the salmon ladder. Irish has failed this. Gotenks out of nowhere failed this. Ump is committing to his spring jump technique, which brought him down in the last tournament, but it won't beat him this time. He's through and onto the stick slider. This has already taken out 2 competitors. Don't underestimate it, and Ump hasn't. Fun fact, stick slider's actually taken out at least 1 competitor in every tournament on Halo 5. Ump's got an interesting technique here on the skywalk. That saved a lot of time. Onto the metal spin, an obstacle he's familiar with. He's failed this obstacle before as well. Gets the save jump though, and gets the huge dismount. 15 seconds. He's got less time than the others had for the wall lift. Oh, he's having trouble with that second wall. He's going to have more trouble with the third wall, but he squeezes underneath. And Double Ump beats stage 2, 5.7 seconds. He books another trip to the 3rd stage, and he gets his revenge on stage 2. Him and his fiery arse are going back to the 3rd stage, and his success saw a turn of the tides for our competitors, as Alpha Puma had a bit of a shaky run overall. He was a bit all over the place on the skateboard, on the downhill jump. He then got an accidental spring jump on the stick slider. Almost dismounted too early. He took a double save jump on the middle spin, but despite all of those wobbly moments, he still pulled through to make it to the 3rd stage for the 4th tournament in a row. And after him, Puma was back supporting the next competitor, Strafe Helix, the stage 4 finalist from the last tournament, who got the stage 1 speed record in this tournament, and he was determined to make sure that his tournament continued. He spring jumped his way through the salmon ladder and had an interesting technique to get onto that last wall on the wall lift, and he cleared with 7.5 seconds left on the clock to make it 5 competitors through to the 3rd stage. Can this last man make it 6? This is a man who knows the challenges that await him here on stage 2, because he has now attempted this stage more times than any other competitor. Smokey Massacre, the first man to attempt stage 2 for the 12th time. Can he get through this stage and make it to the third stage for the 10th time, and that would tie a record as well. That would tie Re95's record for most stage 2 clears. Re also on 10, getting his last one in tournament 16, as Smokey taking his time a little bit on the salmon ladder. He was very shaky at the start on that first jump, but he gets through it. Onto the stick slider. Smokey! Oh my goodness! He almost dismounted too late there, but a crucial save jump saves his bacon. He's quickly through the skywalk, onto the metal spin. He's almost home and dry, gets the save jump. That was a bit of a late save jump, but he's got 19 seconds. He should be home and dry now, but it has not been smooth sailing. Under the second wall. Wow, Smokey! He almost flipped off the mongoose. That would have been disqualification. But Smokey survives it. 5.4 seconds left on the clock. His 10th stage 2 clear. But that might have just been the dodgiest stage 2 run we've ever seen from Smokey on this course.
This is the easiest salmon ladder.
I had a lot of stressful moments. I was freaking out on the salmon ladder just because I have to.
Well, you know how.
And then I really thought I failed the third obstacle.
You literally did the salmon ladder different than every practice I watched. I don't think you spring jumped it at all, did you?
I didn't do any spring there, no.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but Smokey's moving on once again. So just as we saw in Tournament 20, it was the first half of the second stage that did the damage to our competitors. Everyone who reached the second half managed to successfully reach the finish line of Stage 2. Now, our 11 survivors have become 6. It was Chris who topped the leaderboard on Stage 2, finishing ahead of Alpha Puma, then Strafe Helix, Atlantic Champ, Double Ump, and a very rare sight on Stage 2, Smokey coming in with the slowest time. But our competitors will have no time to rest, as they must now face their next challenge, the third stage. After a record 3 competitors beat this stage in the last tournament, the obstacles have had quite the makeover. 6 of the 8 obstacles, to be exact, have been modified to be more difficult than they were in the last tournament, as well as a completely new obstacle to go along with it. There is no time limit on the third stage, and the only limit for our competitors is how long they can last on the obstacles. And just like that, we have made it to the third stage. 100 competitors arrived at the start of Tournament 22. Now, only 6 men are still standing. A triple pair, all with different stories. 2 competitors who got their first taste of success in this tournament. 2 longtime veterans hoping this will be the day they break through on Stage 3. And 2 finalists who beat this stage in the last tournament. Can anyone defeat this stage again today? The first man hoping to do so is once again Atlantic Champ.
I feel great. I've gone to every stage 3 in the courses that matter in Halo 5 now, because I did in Abs and Smokies and Rogs and this one now. So I feel great. I get to pick on one of my own obstacles too, which is really neat. Yeah, I feel pretty good.
Atlantic, the first man up on Stage 3 here in Tournament 22. He will be the first man subjected to this revamped third stage, starting with the propeller bars, the first of 8 obstacles. As you're about to discover, there are now more bars to jump across, and from the second one onwards they reduce in height but are increased in distance, which means these jumps are pretty darn precise. They were pretty darn precise with the old version in the last tournament, but now it is even tougher, and Atlantic is not taking any chances. A lot of save jumps and he gets through it, and now onto the new obstacle, the Atom Slicer, of course based off of his own obstacle on Halo Sasuke, which you should go and check out, by the way. It's a good tournament, great tournament. I've heard good things about it. Go message Atlantic Champ. Anyway, plug over. Atlantic punching the slicer to get it onto the track, And now you've got to survive the rolls. It will roll 3 times before it reaches the end. Although Atlantic has got it rolling very slowly at the minute, nicely in control as it starts to pick up pace now, but he once again slows it down nicely. This is a good technique. We shouldn't be surprised. This is Atlantic's own obstacle. If there's one man who will be confident, more confident than anyone else on this obstacle, then it is Atlantic. And he gets through the Atom Slicer, making his way up to the Devil Steps, the only obstacle on stage 3 that remains exactly the same as it was in the last tournament. Of course, none of that matters to Atlantic because this is all new to him. As he makes his way up to the top, now the easy transfer across, and then the not so easy descent back down. Nobody's ever failed this descent, but it is tricky. Especially this final one, but he gets it. Now for the cliffhanger. Atlantic is particularly worried about this. He does not have a good record with cliffhangers on many courses. And this took out... It has taken out many competitors in the past. It beat 2 competitors in the last tournament. Atlantic goes through it. He gets the save jump, a late save jump. But Atlantic Champ defeats the cliffhanger. His breakout tournament will continue into the back half of the 3rd stage. This is phenomenal stuff from the champ, who is performing like a champ. Onto the jumping bars. He misses the first jump. Atlantic, from glory to defeat in about, what, 10-15 seconds? He gets past the cliffhanger, only to fail the very next jump. He becomes the first competitor since Phil in Tournament 16 to fail this obstacle. It has been made a lot tougher this time around, but Atlantic was not expecting to fail there, surely.
Actually, no, it's the regular Jump Academy. Oh. There you go.
Oh my God.
Come on.
Oh,
let's
yes.
go.
Yes. Let's freaking go.
Let's go, Atlantic.
Let's go.
This is my moment.
Alright.
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah,
Sprint.
I thought you killed Minty.
Yeah, I didn't have that one. Yeah,
That's
that was a bigger jump than I thought. We don't need to re-record anything.
Oh man, that was good. That was a good run.
That was a good run.
Sweet Jesus.
That was a good run, Atlantic.
Well, I think all of the crowd are agreed that was a good run from Atlantic Champ. An incredible breakout performance for him that has finally come to an end.
Man, you know, I feel superior, as you can see, man. The Plasma Pistol King has made it with his boys, of course. They coming with me all day, every day. You already know. Yeah.
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 All right.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
What is happening? Oh wait, we all need for the boys.
That intro did not go according to plan, but we managed to fish Chris out of the pond from number 29 to 89. Quite the jump in numbers there. Chris, the last of our first-time successors in this tournament, still standing. Can he get as far as Atlantic did? He's full sending his way through the propeller bars. This is risky, but he makes it work until it doesn't work. Chris drops out on the first obstacle and bodies are flying into the water again. But this time it is off of the back of a defeat for Chris rather than a victory. Chris, he went too fast. If he just slowed down on that last set of bars, he might have been in business. Instead, he is out.
Oh my god.
Oh, no.
Alright. Well, that was awkward. Yeah.
We had to do it all over again.
It's all good.
Oh.
I made the stage
Good
3,
job,
so
mate.
the boys gonna
Yeah,
make
good
the
job,
stage
mate.
3.
Good job, Chris.
Yeah,
Good
dude,
job.
fantastic.
Good job. All
At
the
least you
boys,
didn't time out on stage 3.
Yeah, that would
terrible,
have been really
terrible.
rough.
Chris becomes the first competitor since Elite MKB in Tournament 10 to fail the first obstacle on Stage 3. And in the blink of an eye, we are down to 4 competitors. Next up is Double Ump, his 8th time taking on the 3rd stage. Last time he was here, as you can see, in Tournament 20, 2 tournaments ago, he failed the Devil's Steps. With this being his 8th time, he has now surpassed Drago for the number of times he has reached the 3rd stage. Only Ree and Smokey, both on 10, have attempted the 3rd stage more times than Double Ump. All-time legend in Halo jumping, continuing to deliver and hoping he can deliver a memorable performance here today on the 3rd stage. He's always had an obstacle that's just been his nemesis on this stage. But the propeller bars will not be that as he spring jumps onto the Atom Slicer. We saw him do that on stage 2 with the Skywalk. Let's see how he will fare, since this is the first competitor attempting this obstacle that didn't make this obstacle, since Atlantic obviously contributed this obstacle. Ump has definitely got it rolling a little faster than Atlantic did, but is surviving through it, making his way through, and reaches the end and is through it nicely. Now, making his way up to the Devil Steps, the obstacle he failed 2 tournaments ago. After he failed it in Tournament 20, this obstacle was made easier in Tournament 21, and with this version being exactly the same, he of course is still facing the easier version. Can he get through it? Although this is his 8th time taking on Stage 3, this is only the 2nd time he is attempting this Stage 3 on Halo 5. He's been going for the spring jump technique here. Ump is being very meticulous with his techniques. What is that? He took a save jump there. Was that to activate his spring? He's now crouched down. Is he going to get the spring again? Yes, he is. Ump clearly has a plan here for how he wants to tackle this obstacle. Making his way onto the downward section, further than he got on this obstacle last time, and he's through it, onto the cliffhanger. Ump has never beaten a cliffhanger on this course. He's failed the old Halo 4 version, and he's failed this version, the Shin cliffhanger, on the MCC in Tournament 17. Now for the Halo 5 version, can he get through it? He gets a good jump. Double Ump defeats the cliffhanger for the first time ever on this course. That is a personal best for Double Ump. The Halo jumping legend is putting on a clinic right now, and he gets onto the first jumping bar that Atlantic could not. As I say, this obstacle is a lot tougher than it was in the last tournament. The bars are now exceedingly thin, and this last bar is a drop down, but you gotta watch your head because it's right underneath the hang climb, and you then have to transfer from the last bar onto the side rock, which is hanging on an overhang. This is not an easy jump, but Ump makes it look easy with another spring jump. He's onto the hang climb. As usual, this obstacle has had its traditional modification. It just gets a slight tweak every tournament just to keep our competitors on their toes. But Ump is flying through the hang climb right now. He's not wasting any time. He's zooming through. And he's up to the top and now heading for the spider flip. 2 obstacles left to go. Double Ump, the godfather of Halo jumping. taking more spring jumps, gets around the corner. He's running into the wall, he does a 180, he goes for it, and he makes it! That jump had been made harder, the gap, the distance, and the ledge were made tougher. The gap was made bigger, and the ledges were made thinner. But that does not faze Ump. He is on to the final ring, the last obstacle of stage 3. Is Ump on his way to the final stage? Into the head slide, a huge drop down onto the first ring. You can't full send these anymore. Drop down onto the second ring, and then a big jump to the third ring. Taking his time, goes for it, gets the save jump, and even thought that jump was big, the final jump is even bigger. Ump double ump. The godfather of Halo jumping. He goes for it. Ump double ump is going on to the final stage. Ump double ump has defeated stage 3. For the first time in his career, this long-time Halo jumping legend will be taking on the final stage on this course. And he is now the first competitor in Halo jumping history to achieve the Triple Crown, making it to the final stage, first on Smokey's course, then on Rock's course, and now on this course. Ump double ump had a plan all the way through this stage, and he stuck to it perfectly. He nailed every single one of these obstacles, and it resulted in success.
Yeah. Let's go! You did it! You did! You got the Triple Crown! Let's go! The Triple Crown! He's got the Triple Crown! Let's freaking go! First on mine, then Smokey's, now this. He did it up. Oh, let's freaking go up! Woo! That was amazing. You absolutely just dominated that stage.
I mean, obviously it feels really great to finally beat stage 3 on your course. I mean, this course has been around for 10 years, and I've been around for, you know, competing on this course for most of those 10 years, so it's kind of cool as one of the old guys to, like, finally get it done on such a landmark tournament. If the final stage is anything like it was last time, it's going to be tough. Probably tougher than any final stage I've ever competed on in the course, so, yeah, to get to the top of it, it's going to be tough.
Ump double ump is the first man moving on to the final stage in Tournament 22. What a run from Ump double ump, and now we still have half the field left to go. Next up on stage 3 is a man who would love, who would crave to join Ump on the final stage. It is Alpha Puma. His 5th time making it to the 3rd stage. Last time out, he failed the transfer on the cliffhanger, which was, in his eyes, a huge step backwards because he'd failed the final jump on stage 3 in Tournament 20, the tournament before. Puma has made it his goal to get to the final stage. On this course, on Smokey's course, on any of the major courses. Making his way through the propeller bars. He does not like this obstacle. Puma has never been a fan of this obstacle. He's always been a little bit scared of it. Never failed it in his career though. He's beaten it every time he's made it to this stage. He's making his way through it again now. His 5th time making it to the 3rd stage. His 4th tournament in a row getting to the 3rd stage here on Halo 5. He was, of course, the only man to reach stage 3 in Tournament 19. Obviously got first place again in Tournament 20, along joint first place alongside Smokey, failing the last jump, but then I suppose it was huge disappointment for him in the last tournament, failing the cliffhanger, you know, taking a step back from where he failed in 20, but also the fact that 3 other competitors beat stage 3. He probably saw it as a huge opportunity squandered to join them on the final stage. Puma has been looking good, kind of slightly gone under the radar so far this tournament. He got the job done easily on stage 1, had a fast time, and basically did the same again on stage 2. It wasn't the smoothest of runs on stage 2, but effective nonetheless, and Puma with an effective jump off the dismount of the atom slicer there, landing up on the top ledge. Now for the Devil's Steps. He was the first person ever to attempt this obstacle and has beaten it every time since then. And he's zoomed his way up the upward section. Now going to the downhill. And gets it with a safe jump. Onto the cliffhanger where he failed in the last tournament. I haven't even mentioned the fact that the third ledge has now been made thinner. It used to be a wider ledge, but look at the third ledge, it's small, it's the same length as the rest of the ledge, but it does not stop Puma this time around. 3 out of 3 for our competitors now on the cliffhanger. The change to the cliffhanger has not phased or stopped any of our competitors in their tracks as he's making his way through the jumping bars, an obstacle he probably feels comfortable with, taking save jumps on. Puma almost overshot that third jumping bar, lands on the 4th one without a save jump, which was, I wasn't expecting that, to be honest. Now Puma doesn't do spring jumps, so now he has to go for the sprint jump instead on the hang climb. He just about made it. He failed this obstacle in tournament 19, beat this obstacle in tournament 20. It's been modified. The crowd watching on. That, bizarrely, is Zandito, the guy who failed stage 1, slipping off the dismount of the halfpipe attack that caused cancellation to the filming. Of all the bizarre competitors to be watching Puma's stage 3 run, I think Puma found it a bit weird as well that he showed up to watch this run. But Puma is onto the spider flip, the highest point on this entire course outside of standing on top of the final stage tower. As I said, that jump, the distance is further, and that second ledge that he's trying to get to is thinner. He's backing up, he jumps up, he jumps across. Puma! I think he might have actually landed it and took a safe jump just in case. Puma is onto the last obstacle again. 5 times now he's made it to the last obstacle. Twice on Smoggy's course, 3 times on this course. Starting with the head slide. This is actually based off of the original version of this obstacle on the MCC in tournament 17 with the head slide. And then changed into where you drop down onto the rings, which is obviously what this obstacle has been in every Halo 5 tournament. Puma has made it to the last jump. He's failed this jump in the past. Can he do it this time? He goes for it! Alpha Puma has beaten stage 3! Alpha Puma is moving on to the final stage for the first time in his jump career. He has finally defeated a 3rd stage after years of failure. He has finally done it, getting his revenge on the cliffhanger, defeating the redesigned hang climb again, getting through the spider flip, which he was worried about, with the final stage in the background, and then getting the job done on the last jump.
Let's go! Let's go! Ah! Ah! Ah!
Dude, I think I scared my cat, dude. Oh my god, man. Oh my god.
That is the purest example of mission accomplished.
It's so emotional, man. Like, I actually beat it. It's been 16 third stages between you, Smokey, and Rog. And it's like, after 6 years, you're like, shit, I'm never gonna make it. And it's like, it finally came all together. And even like, when I was doing it, I didn't, like, I thought like in the back of my mind, like, I'm gonna fail. Like at the cliffhanger, I was like, oh, I'm gonna fail. When I got to the spider flip, I was so nervous, dude. I was like, I'm gonna undershoot it. Same at the final ring. I was like, I'm undershooting it. It's gonna be a big cheese fest. It's gonna be like classic Puma. But I made it finally. And it's like, it's so good to actually be at a final stage. Oh my god, dude.
2 clears in a row, with 2 competitors left to go who both beat this stage in the last tournament, and they've tried building a tower that's crumbled about 2 steps after they started moving.
This news then, it's not really new, it's just a very, well, tough from the last tournament. Obviously 3 people got beat it. It's gonna be pretty interesting. So yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do at the minute.
Strafe, with really no expectations it sounds like, of course beat the odds in the last tournament alongside Rog. First time on stage 3 and ended up beating it. So when you do something like that, really, like, the sky's the limit, or is there just no expectations on your next run? I don't think Vulcan knows what to expect from himself after such an incredible run last time out. So let's see how far he can get. Don't rule him out of beating this stage again. We've already seen the last 2 competitors beat it. There is no reason why Strafe cannot do it as well. He's had a great tournament so far, getting the new speed record on stage 1 and back on stage 3 again today as he goes up for the Atom Slicer and misses it. And Strafe Helix, the stage 4 finalist in the last tournament, drops out early. He does technically beat the first obstacle by touching the Atom Slicer, but it is the smallest consolation possible to him. He is out on stage 3.
Oh my god.
No! Oh! What
Nice.
fails does that count as? What kind of fails does that count as? First or is...
How many? I cleared stage 3 and failed the first obstacle.
A little bit of confusion there. It was technically the second obstacle. I love that Atlantic is asking, because he wonders if his own obstacle just got a failure on it, which it did.
Getting back to stage 3, I feel like this is where I have the least pressure. Getting to stage 3 is always a good performance for me, so this is the stage where I just get to sit back, relax, and have a little bit of fun, and if great things happen, then they do. If I fall into the water, that's all right, because I got to stage 3. So I'm happy with myself. I'm happy with this tournament. Now let's just see if we can add a little cherry on top.
Smokey finds himself in the same position he found himself in the last tournament. 2 competitors already through to the final stage, with his run still to go as the last runner on the 3rd stage. Moving pretty quickly through the propeller bars. Didn't full send the whole obstacle. Only person who's done that is Chris, and we saw what happened to him, as Smokey does not make the same mistake, although he almost fails the next jump on the Atom Slicer. Does not make the same mistake that Strafe did. Ironically, actually, he saw that failure and was a little bit worried about that jump, but he nailed it quite nicely. Smokey having a lot of trouble getting this Atom Slicer moving. Most people have managed to get it rolling after 1, maybe 2 punches. So Smokey has had to take a lot of punches there just to get it onto the track. But he has got it rolling very slowly. Atlantic, I'm sure secretly very happy that his obstacle has taken somebody out, even if it was, you know, somebody failing getting onto the obstacle rather than someone actually failing the obstacle properly. But Smokey is in complete control on the Atom Slicer. And like Puma, goes for the quick dismount and is on to the Devil Steps. He already holds the record for the most clears on this stage, having beat this stage in the last tournament for a record 3rd time. Now looking to go for his 4th stage 3 clear. Making his way down the last jump. Oh, a little close there. Had to get a very late save jump there. We've seen that a couple of times in the past, in previous tournaments. Smokey with a save jump to get onto the second ledge. That one might have been more precaution than actual necessity. As Smokey defeats the cliffhanger yet again. He's never failed a cliffhanger. And nobody will be failing the cliffhanger despite the changes to make it more difficult. Nobody will be failing it today. On to the jumping bars. Chris was defeated. Strafe was defeated. Atlantic failed this obstacle. All 3 of our failures have been in ways that we don't really associate as being normal fails. We certainly don't see them at all, really. On stage 3, Smokey almost overshot that 4th bar. Gets a couple of save jumps just to be sure. And now for this tricky jump onto the hang climb. Smokey almost slid off that first rock. Smokey is playing with fire, but he is hanging in there like the champion he is. By his standards, this has not been the smoothest of runs, but it was not the smoothest of runs on stage 2 either. I said earlier, it might have been the scariest stage 2 run he's ever had on this course, and he's certainly had plenty of them. As he eyes up this jump, almost overshoots it, but again takes a couple of save jumps to be sure. Now up to the top and making his way onto the spider flip. He doesn't need reminding, but I'll say it anyway. The only person to ever fail this obstacle on this jump right here, which he gets over again. Beaten this in both of the last 2 tournaments. He also stuck the ledge, but decides to go for the save jump. Smokey is going on to the last obstacle for the 3rd tournament in a row. Is Smokey going to join the others on the final stage? Quickly into the head slide, dropping down, gets the save jump. 3 jumps left to go. That one's not too bad. This one is a tough one though. Smokey gets it, slides a little bit. He's on to the last jump again. Is Smokey about to make more history on stage 3? He goes for it. Smokey Massacre has done it again. A record 4th final stage appearance, a 4th stage 3 clear. And he is the first competitor on this course to beat stage 3 in back-to-back tournaments. He didn't have it all his own way. It was certainly not the smoothest of rides. On the Atom Slicer, the dismount of the Devil's Steps, the jumping bars, and of course, the closest he came to falling here on the hang climb. He almost slid off. A perfectly timed save jump saved him and put him on the road to history.
Love you.
Let's go! Smokey, when you yelled as loud as you could, hello, old friend, I thought that was the yell of falling. I thought you failed when you did that. Oh, friend!
I had to bust it out. You know, there's a lot of pent-up energy.
Is this your 4th or 3rd final stage? 4th.
My 4th.
That's just ridiculous.
Man, clearing stage 3 in the last tournament felt really good. I think this one felt even better. This stage was definitely tougher than last tournament. I was feeling a lot more pressure on the obstacles, not necessarily on the run itself, but just the obstacles were so stressful. So I think that hang climb, man, I was freaking out on that one, but got by it. Just getting back to that final jump, I knew I'd failed that one before. I'd cleared it before, so I knew anything was possible. But I'm just glad that I had the focus and the ability to get back to the final stage.
Once again, Smokey wraps up the third stage with another trip to the final stage tower. 6 competitors stepped up and the third stage cut the field in half, with all 3 failures coming in unique ways that we haven't seen before. Now we can move on for the second tournament in a row to the final stage tower. Once again, we have 3 incredible competitors still standing to take on this task. 3 heroes in Tournament 22 that have outlasted everyone else, defeating the first 3 stages. But now, they face arguably the toughest challenge of their careers. 2 obstacles, starting with the Heavenly Ladder, 14 jumps back and forth to reach the halfway point, and then another 14 jumps on the cable climb, which no one managed to defeat in the last tournament. The time limit is 35 seconds. The goal is simple. Reach the top of the tower within the time and you will become only the 3rd competitor ever to achieve total victory. In the last tournament, the focus was all on the young, new generation, with Rog and Strafe both defeating Stage 3 on their first times attempting it. Today, instead, we have 3 of the most experienced and most successful competitors of all time in Halo jumping history. 3 men who have strived for this goal every tournament, but have had very different experiences getting here. 1 man, the most experienced competitor of all time in Halo jumping history. 1 man who has made this his goal for the last 6 years. And 1 man who has tasted glorious victory and heartbreaking defeat on this final stage. Will any of them have what it takes to reach the top? Could more than 1 man achieve total victory? Or will this final stage wipe all of them out mercilessly?
Yeah, it feels really good after, like 16 appearances to finally be making my first final on your course. It's kind of good just to get that out of the way, and hopefully I can get up the top here. It's going to be a tough one, especially, it looks a lot like the Tournament 21 final, so I think all the guys who made it here, we're going to be in for a tough one.
The first man to take on the final stage is Double Ump. Ump is an all-time legend in Halo jumping history, having made a name for himself in Spartan Warrior as one of the first real success stories on that course. As recently as October 2021, we were still discovering some of Ump's successes on Spartan Warrior, making it to the last jump of Stage 2 in the final Spartan Warrior tournament. Less than 6 months after that run took place, he made his debut in Tournament 4 of this course on Halo Reach. But despite huge expectations for his newcomer performance, it took Ump a little while to get to grips with this new course. On his 3rd appearance in Tournament 6, he got his first Stage 1 clear, making it to the 3rd stage, and he made it back to Stage 3 in Tournament 8, where he picked up his first place finish. He then suffered 2 Stage 1 failures in a row, including a timeout on the last obstacle of Stage 1 in the first Halo 4 tournament. But he bounced back in Tournament 11 to get another Stage 3. After that, he took a 6-month break from the course before returning in Tournament 14, where we saw Ump's biggest successes, including his personal best performance in Tournament 15. 1 week prior to the start of Tournament 17, Ump announced the biggest shock of them all. He was going to retire from Halo jumping after Tournament 17, making that tournament his final appearance. This led to a huge change of plans, as Ump was originally planning to be announced as one of the 5 new Xbox One All-Stars. Instead, he was given one last hurrah where he notched up another Stage 3 appearance. As we now know, of course, that retirement was short-lived, as he missed just 1 tournament and was back for Tournament 19, where he suffered his first Stage 1 failure since Tournament 10, going out on the flying chute. He hasn't failed Stage 1 since then, and as we now know, Ump has achieved the biggest moment of his career on this course, now stepping up to the final stage for his first time. Ump double ump, the godfather of Halo jumping. When Halo 5 came along, Ump had already established himself as a legend that had never been to a final stage. Today, he now steps up to his 6th final stage attempt across the 3 big courses. The first man to have reached the final on all 3 courses. He got the job done on Spartan Sasuke. Could he become a grand champion on his 16th appearance on this course? He has already set the record for the longest wait to get your first final stage. Will it end in glory? 3 shots! Ump is away! His 35 seconds have begun. He's got a technique on the heavenly ladder. He's going back and forth, going at a slight angled approach. Something we didn't see from many of our finalists in the last tournament, and it appears to have worked pretty effectively. He's still got half the time as he gets onto the cable climb. These cables span the 4 corners of the tower, and Ump's clearly got a technique for these as well. He's full sending the ones which go straight up, and he's almost at the top. Ump! Ump! No! Ump! Oh my goodness! He had it! He failed the last cable, the same jump that Rog failed in the last tournament. But I tell you something, he had the time. He had the time to reach that last cable and maybe just hit the buzzer within the time limit. Ump, just like we saw on the 3rd stage, he had a game plan, and it worked on the heavenly ladder. It looked like it was working on the cable climb as well, but he just went that little bit too fast on the final cable. We can see here from this 3rd person perspective, he just missed his bearings. He lost his bearings, got a little to the side, got his angles wrong. And that was how close he came to achieving total victory. Unbelievable.
Jesus, dude.
He was crushing that.
You had that?
Yeah.
God, you look so good on that thing.
That was
Oh my
perfect
goodness.
all the way until that point.
That was so good.
That was really good.
Nice try, dude.
Yeah, that was a tough run. I think it was only about 2 jumps away or something, but yeah, I kind of had a game plan going in, and yeah, I knew I had to full send it, and maybe I went a little too send there at the end. It just got a little squirrely. Well, you know, I wish Smokey and Puma well. It's obviously a tough stage. It's gonna, I mean, it'll take everything out of you to get up to the top.
Honestly, I feel really calm. It's kind of a culmination of like the 6-year journey that I've done. Just being able to work this hard and get here, and it's like I wanted to give up a lot, and getting here. It makes me happy that I didn't stop jumping or all that. So just even one attempt on the final stage, honestly, is just really nice.
The next man to take on the final stage is Alpha Puma. After making his debut on Niwa in Tournament 15, in which Puma suffered an early Stage 1 exit, Puma went on a training spree to become the legendary competitor we know today. And on his 2nd appearance in Tournament 16, that training paid off, getting to the 3rd stage and also making it to the last obstacle. After that incredible breakout performance, Puma has had one goal: to make it to the final stage on a Halo jumping course. He came up 1 jump short on the MCC in Tournaments 14 and 15 on Halo Ninja Warrior. After the move to Halo 5, Puma has had a perfect spree of success on Stage 1 of this course, clearing 5 times out of 5 and making it to the 3rd stage 4 times. He got back to the last obstacle in the landmark 20th tournament, but once again came up short on that final jump. It looked like Puma was never going to achieve the lifelong goal he set himself in Halo jumping. But now, 6 years after making his debut, he has finally achieved his goal, and here in Tournament 22, he now stands on the precipice at the summit of the final stage. Alpha Puma. Many believed this moment would never happen. Even Puma himself probably thought at one point this would never happen. But at long last, Puma managed to put it all together on stage 3 and now stands at the summit of the final stage. It's taken all this effort for him just to get here. Could he make one final stand? Can he deliver one final incredible performance and maybe achieve total victory to become the 3rd Grand Champion? The moment Puma has been waiting for all his jumping career. The 35 seconds of his life are about to begin. Time started. Puma's rise begins on the heavenly ladder. Not going quite as fast as was. He just pauses for a second then. He's being that little bit more careful. Got onto the golden peg with 20 seconds left. Puma is a little bit down on time. Takes a save jump on the cable climb. That's not going to help him. But he's progressing and he misses the jump to the 3rd cable. The first sprint jump he misses and comes up short. And just like that, Puma's final stage attempt is done. Alpha Puma. He put so much into this tournament just to get here. But he came up short on that 3rd cable. You can see it here. He didn't sprint the jumps going straight up, the ones that was full sending. Puma had no problems with that one, but the sprint jumps, the jumps from one corner to the other, he got it wrong. He came up short, and his final stage is done.
No! You got up there though. He actually did beat Snoz. That's bullshit.
Better than me.
I didn't know you had a sprint. I didn't know you had a sprint.
Get in!
Hey. Did better than Volt last turn.
Honestly, I'm pretty happy. I got to the cables, which is something I wanted to do. I know I wasn't too fast, but I didn't want to make a stupid mistake. Yeah, I failed not realizing you had a sprint, but I know that for if there is a take 2 ever in Sasuke 23 or anything like that. But I'm happy with the run. Being at a final stage was cool.
It's great to be back on the final stage. I am still worried because I did this one in the last tournament, and I obviously didn't even reach the top of the tower. I got pretty close to the top in 14, and then obviously got to the top in 16. So I would like to at least get back to the top this time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do this final stage within the time limit because it does look very tough, and it was very tough last time. So we'll see what happens, but right now I'm excited, but I'm also a little worried about my ability to beat this stage.
Once again, the last man standing to close out the tournament is Smokey Massacre. Smokey's first 4 appearances on this course all came on Halo Reach, where he managed to get one stage 1 clear but never really looked like a competitor capable of challenging for the major glories. That all changed after the move to Halo 4 and his decision to begin his own course, Halo Ninja Warrior. The constant forging and practicing of his own obstacles allowed Smokey to hone his skills. And although he still failed Stage 1 again in the first Halo 4 tournament, it was clear Smokey was a different competitor. That training paid off in the next tournament when he got his first Stage 3 attempt, And in Tournament 13, we got our first taste of Smokey showing he could compete with the best, getting his first of 5 first place finishes. He then took it one step further, making it to the final stage for his first time. As we now know, that was the first of a record-breaking 4 final stage attempts he has now had on this course, and with his performances today, he has become the first competitor to reach the final stage in back-to-back tournaments on Niwa, something that has been very rarely achieved by competitors on any course across all of Halo jumping. After failing to defeat this final stage in the last tournament, will his experience from that failure give him the courage and the ability to defeat this stage this time around and get his second total victory? When Gotenks achieved that incredible feat of back-to-back final stages on his course, did Smokey ever think that he would become the first person to do it on this course? There's just about no record that Smokey hasn't claimed. The Stage 1 clear record in this tournament tied the Stage 2 clear record, extended his own Stage 3 clear record in this tournament. Could he now become the first 2-time champion? The first man to take on this version of the final stage for a second time. He couldn't get the job done on the first try. Can he do it on the second try? Let's find out! 35 seconds for Smokey to write the history books yet again. Looking pretty good on the Heavenly Ladder, not had any major slip-ups or slow pauses to speak of so far. He's basically on ump's pace. He quickly gets onto the first cable as well, but he screws up the jump to the second cable! And just like that, Smokey is out! He fails the cable climb again, but he fails even earlier than he did last time. And it wasn't on one of the sprint jumps, it was on one of the simple upward jumps. Smokey, he was looking so good up to that point, but just like he got his angles wrong. He just went that little bit too far to the side. Smokey and have just shown how thin those cables are, how precise you have to be, and just how tough this final stage is, as Smokey is beaten again.
Oh my god!
No. No.
Damn.
God, it was smooth up to
You were moving pretty
smooth.
good too.
You were going at a really good pace too. You were at like 18. You were at 18 seconds. You could have had a chance. Good job, Smoke. We'll get up there.
Dang, you know what?
Right now, we have to put up
If
that
my sensitivity was a little higher, maybe I would have turned further and lined up the jump better. I'm a little disappointed, I'm not gonna lie. I was feeling pretty good climbing up the first half of that stage, and to fail like that kind of feels a little silly and you know, unfortunate. I just didn't line up that one jump. I tried to turn around. I wanted to go fast because, you know, I want to have a shot. Obviously, reaching the top within the time limit, but I rushed it a little bit, got a little too excited on that jump, and honestly, what was probably one of the easiest jumps on that stage, I messed up simply because I rushed it. So it's a little embarrassing, but the fact that I got here again makes it all worth it for me. So I'm not going to beat myself up about it too much.
Once again, all 100 competitors failed to complete the 4-stage obstacle course. In the end, it was that got the closest, failing the same jump that Rog failed in Tournament 21, just missing his mark and coming up just short of achieving total victory. This was only second ever first place finish on Niwa, and his first since Tournament 8 almost 7.5 years ago. Although this tournament saw less overall success across all 4 stages compared to the last one, there were still many great individual moments. Seeing competitors like Atlantic, Chris and Z finally pick up a Stage 1 clear for their first times was truly memorable. They have become a huge part of the jumping community since the move to the Xbox One, and their success was well deserved for their many years of participation. Irish's comeback success will live long in the memory, not just on this course, but in all of Halo jumping history. But for me, the biggest takeaway probably has to be our 3 finalists. Between them, Puma and Smokey have amassed more than 40 appearances alone on this course. And no matter how experienced they are, they have continued to strive for ultimate glory. For to have set his personal best 18 tournaments after he made his debut, for Puma to have achieved his ultimate goal in Halo jumping after 6 years of trying, and for Smokey to continue to tear up the record books, they are the perfect example that whether you've been competing for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, or even 10 years, if you keep pushing and you keep believing, you can achieve your dreams in Halo jumping. And even if you were beaten this time around, always remember there will be another tournament and another opportunity for success. I would like to thank everybody that competed in this tournament and every other competitor that has contributed to this course's 10-year history. Without you guys, Ninja Warrior of Halo would not be the course that it is, and I would not have so many incredible memories to cherish and love. I hope you guys have enjoyed watching Tournament 22. And if you have, like, comment and subscribe, and we will see you guys again very soon for the next tournament, Tournament 23, the last tournament on Halo 5. Until then guys, we'll see you again next time very soon. I've been HuntUnit751, goodbye guys.